All right. So, last week it was Triple Threat Week where we did sit down and stay. I saw that a couple people are having some issues with the transitions, especially from laying down to sitting back up. My dogs don't know that. I mean, I don't really have a function for it, right? So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can lure them to do it, but it's not something I use often. But it is something that is challenging for you guys. And it puts you in a position where you can decide, like, is this really a behavior that I need to continue to work on? Or can we kind of skip it and refine the other ones that we think are maybe more practical? So tonight we are going to be watching a longer video in two parts. I do want to give everyone the opportunity to ask questions about last week before we get started. And you can certainly do that in the chat window if you would like, or you can just jump on in.
How do you post the videos?
Oh, just do them on Facebook. Just do them in the Facebook group. Are you in the Facebook group?
Probably not.
All right. Well, when I send out, let me put that in my note. In the week 4 email, I will attach another link to the Facebook group. You can also just email them to me. And I'm happy to take a look at them if you don't want to share them with the group also. Sometimes I used to be real self-conscious about video, and then I got over it.
Well, maybe you did send it and I just didn't see it.
Oh, okay. All right. Search in your email for Hello Bully Facebook group and see if it's there. And we'll make sure to let you in when you knock.
Okay, thanks.
You're so welcome. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So we are going to watch we're going to watch most of the video. Actually, give me 1 second here. I'm going to grab a minute marker. Oh. Okay, so we're going to all watch together until 7 minutes and 40 seconds. And then we're going to come back and discuss. I want you to watch when I am working with Quinn. I watched this a couple times over the last few days and gave myself some critiques. And I want to see if you guys pick up on what I feel like I missed in that session. It's a short session. Quinn is, his mom's on the call, so we're gonna be like,
he's still a very special boy. Let's put it like that. He's a very, very special boy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay there. And he is from a dogfighting case. He was kept in an animal control facility for months during his formative time. And is a fantastic dog, but is a little bit slow to pick things up. And he's a little bit fearful of like novel stimuli or too much information at once. He gets overwhelmed easily. So you guys, go ahead, Case.
And we've had numerous meetings with like behavioral medication specialists, and we've had to really introduce things a lot slower and break things down to really basic, fundamental, like slow increments. So things that my other dog, who's more of a herding breed, can pick up on and has the ability to critical think. Those neural pathways weren't necessarily developed. So at least at the time where that traditionally happens in their growth spectrum. So we've had to compensate in different ways and make sure that maybe he is not going to be typical of his breed, but he's going to be the best that he can be for his circumstances.
Very well put, Case. Very well put.
I love my boy.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's a fantastic dog. And here's the thing is when you look at him, if you met him, you would not say, oh, fearful, anxious dog. He doesn't really come off as fearful or anxious. But there's a lot going on under the surface with Quinn.
And a lot of work that we've done to really help him learn how to manage those things and manage his overstimulation, because just like a lot of children, he acts out whenever he is overstimulated or whenever he can't process something. So his acting out used to look like mouthy, jumpy behavior, which is really scary from a 90-pound dog that has a pretty big noggin and a really big mouth. So there is the ability to manage those kind of situations, and to understand where it was coming from was huge for us. Like, oh, it's overstimulation. Why is he doing these things? I don't understand. Oh, overstimulation. He didn't like wind. All the touchy, all the feelies. He's very touch sensitive. So instead of me giving him treats, which he can't process because he's overstimulated, I give him a hug and he's like, oh, now we feel better. Every dog has their way of dealing with things.
Yeah, he's a pretty special dude, and he can fly. Story for another time, but true story. So I'm going to post the link in the chat, and when you get back, you can just type your observations into the group chat, and then we will talk about it. So I will see y'all in about 7 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm ready for my critique.
Nobody's here, bud. You scared them off. You scared them off, big boy. Nobody. 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 Rooney.
All right, as you guys get back in, I want to hear your feedback, or questions or comments or critiques. And then I can tell you what I feel like I saw.
Okay, you're stingy with some treats. I
Very bad.
definitely saw that.
Mhm.
You were like, you told him that he was a good boy and he didn't get anything until he did the next thing. I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah. So, and there was a time when he offered a behavior and I just chose not to reward it because it wasn't what I asked for, but it was on the criteria overall. So I really should have rewarded for it. Yeah, I mean, I think I did read when he was, oh, and I apologize because I was gonna make an edit today and edit out my F-bomb, but we have a puppy with a broken toe right now. So it stayed. It lives. Yeah, I think that I should have maybe stopped and like I have a bunch of different rugs that I could have like put down there so he had like less areas that he could slip on, because I think that really did impact his confidence. And you could see when, if you go back and watch that video, you can tell a lot by Quinn's tail. His carriage is never super high, but like you'll see it's like kind of like swishy, you know, it's like a little up and swishy when he's feeling good. So
And
yeah,
it's
it
funny
was.
now that he knows those behaviors because as he's gotten a little bit older, he still is a very like juvenile dog and probably will be for the rest of his life. You know, he's like my forever puppy, but now he jumps into those behaviors now that he's confident with them. And that's a huge difference from where he started off with. So when I say like he lunges into like down, he really does. And when he pops up, it is like a foot up in the air. Like he's much more confident with what he's able to do now that he's had practice. But it's not necessarily what you're looking for either, you know?
I mean, he's getting there. And that was, 10 months ago, probably when I made that video. So, he has come a long way since then. So I think that, that's a good lesson is to, you know, I think it's important, like when I give you guys advice, like I'm not just saying it as, oh, it helped me. It's really something that I know helps all of us. So the videoing as you move forward. So we have a few minutes of that video left. We're going to jump into that, and then I'm going to load in the handout and the journal. And I will also grab the Facebook group URL so that you can get in there, Tobias, without having to search the world. All right. So go back, watch the rest of that video. I'll see you in a couple minutes. Thank you.
I know I use those behaviors all the time with Quinn since he's so used to them. Like anytime that I notice he's getting into a state of unrest, we go through a lot of his protocols. If we're going to the vet, or if we're going a place that makes him nervous, or if there's a lot of noise, I usually go through the real life, like how I use those behaviors in real life is I go through all of them because he knows them all really well. It gives him confidence and it breaks him out of his cycle of likely getting upset about a situation that he's in.
Yeah, it's nice to have something to rely on that you've practiced before, like just to have it in your back pocket. So I have a question for y'all. Now, the answer to this may be no, because you may be here because you want to go into Rad Dogs this summer. But based on what you filled out on your form when you signed up for this course, could these tools with more practice solve the issues that you're having? So type into the chat, please. Like I want to hear a yes or no. And if it's a no, like I said, it's totally fine. Because we're going to talk about that in just a second. Yeah, continuing to work on it is Rome wasn't built in a day. It's kind of brain training is like strength training, but for your mind. So yeah, continuing to work on it is a key piece. A little bit of dedication goes a long way. Yeah, and like you said, Dana, distractions are really important, and the way that we look at the world and how we build on behaviors will always be the triple D. So distance, duration, distraction. Yep, keep working on it. We sure hope so. Hey, I'm with you. I'm on your team. So let's look at the file that I loaded into the chat that is week 4, which is spot training. We just went over this, but I want to go over the lesson too, because there's a little more information in here. So it's simply teaching your dog how to go to a desired location or a spot and stay there until you release them or cue them otherwise. If your dog already knows place, mat, or bed, you can totally use that. It's fine. It doesn't matter. You could use banana if you wanted to. This is based on Dr. Karen Overall's protocol for relaxation. There are 2 tiers. The first tier has 15 days of lessons. If this is too simple for your dog and they are having and you need to like cut it into smaller pieces, all you have to do is look up her protocol, print it out, and go day by day. I usually, when I give this assignment to my clients, I ask them to do the 15-day protocol twice within 45 days. So like they have to work 2 out of 3 days, and it's going to take them a month and a half to do 30 days. But the idea is that you can, when your doorbell rings, send your dog to their spot, go to the door, sign for a package, and say goodbye to your Amazon guy and release your dog. Okay. But it is, first of all, laying that foundation of teaching them what the concept of, staying on your bed is, and then really building slowly. And there is no way to do this quickly. There's no shortcut for building a behavior that relies on those, like every day. Think of it as stacks of paper. It doesn't look like anything on the day you do it, but you get to the end of 30 and you got a nice little stack there, right? So if you need more information, and I just love this protocol because it really helps teach dogs how to self-soothe. Before you begin working on this, like you don't have to start working on this right away. If you feel like you could benefit from another week of, working on week 3, totally good. But you want to at least have them, you want to be able to do like maybe 2 seconds of stay when you put that hand up. You want to make sure that you choose a bed that's always going to be the same thing, so it's reliable. It's like, and then you have to take it with you on vacation. It's got to be in your Airbnb. What are you going to do if you don't have your bed? So we actually
yoga mats. I'm telling you, yoga mats are great for that.
Yoga mats are awesome. So the polka dotted mat that I was using with Quinn, actually, it's an old crate mat from like 20 years ago that I have 4 of them. So I love those because the dogs see the pattern and they're like, oh, I know what this means. So you're just going to continue to build and build and build. Now, I want to talk about a little thing called graduation. I want you guys to graduate from this course at your own speed. So even though you haven't mastered all of the behaviors yet, I think you guys are close. Okay. So what you're going to do is you have this little checklist here. I'm going to throw your journal sheet up in a second. But when you are done with your week 4 journal sheet, and like I said, does not have to be within the imagined time frame because, well, because life. There you go. Send to everyone. All right. So yeah, Archie as a starting point, yes, but I think there are areas of high stress and anxiety or protectiveness, like when strangers pass the yard. I'm not sure if these skills will fix alone. That is fair. That is fair. So what we do in Rad Dogs is we use these behaviors and then we add a handful of other behaviors. So one of the things that is really instrumental is teaching our dog to watch us and make eye contact. Some of your dogs probably know that indoors. I bet not a lot of your dogs know how to do that on leash indoors and do it really prancy like a little pony. But once they do, they'll be more likely to be able to do that outside. And that will be one of a handful of differential behaviors that you can use when they're trying to, when they're just having a meltdown. There is a lot about when we push our dogs like towards that threshold and when we ease back. So yeah, there's a little bit more to it when you're talking about going outside the home and using all this stuff in the presence of triggers. Okay. But that's what Rad Dogs is all about. And being, if you guys are practicing, then when we start the first week of August, and you jump into Rad Dogs, you're going to get into the fall and have a much better chance of being out there walking your dog without them flipping out. And everyone wants to know how long it will take. The answer is it will take as long as it takes. And that's the only thing that I can promise you, is that it's going to take you as long as it takes. But I would, if that's where you, if that's where your head goes, I would ask you, instead of focusing on, we're very like goal and achievement oriented. I would be systems oriented and say, instead of focusing on like where I'm ultimately going to go, how about if I focus on doing the things on a daily basis that will get me to where I want to go? We don't manifest shit, y'all. We do the work. That's what we do. Okay. So it really, you guys are going to, I hope I see you guys in the Reactive Dogs class. So let me put up here's your journal. Let me see this. All right. So to explain to you how I set this up. So week 4 only has one addition, and it's basically a bunch of behaviors that you already know. Okay. So you can grade it however makes sense to you. I would, once my dog caught on to when I say spot and point to the mat, that's where you go, I would start using that pretty frequently. But the thing is, you don't want to attach that cue word until you've got your dog kind of going, right? The wheels are kind of turning. Then you attach the cue word and they're like, oh, that's what this is called. Okay, yeah, let me file that away. I wouldn't do it right away, but I would do it soon, okay? And you can mix all of these up. So you're really this is going to be more difficult for you to keep in your head, and then just write down. So really make sure you have your journal sheet right there. Like don't leave it in the other room when you're training, and have your treat bag. And what you're going to do is, once you have, and you can print this out 3-4 times. Like, listen, y'all, didn't I confess at the very beginning of this that I took a huge exam and flunked? Y'all remember that? Didn't I tell you all that? I took my CDBC and I bombed, right? Yeah, what did I do? I kept going. I picked it back up and kept going, right? And now I scored so high that I got invited to be on their scoring team, okay? Because I did the things, right? So you're going to do it as long as it takes for it to work. And you're just not going to quit. The only difference between winners and losers is we're willing to fail more often than other people. That's how we win. We're willing to fail more often and then pick it up and keep going. Okay. So that's really my challenge to you. And then all you have to do, once you get this to a point where you feel it's sufficient, you are going to snap a picture of it, email it to me, and I am going to send you an adorable graduation certificate that you can share with friends and family on Facebook. So that is where we are headed. I am going to keep the, sorry, I did not grab the link to that Facebook group, but I will send it out tomorrow in an email. That group will be open. My email is always open. A couple of you have found me personally on Facebook. You can, Hello Bully doesn't have a messaging system because we can't keep up with, the 3 million requests a day. But you can get to us. You can get to us. We are here. You guys have put in, it's so incredible to see you come in week after week, and just to know that like, you guys are doing it. It might not be perfect, right? But like whatever is, you tell me whatever has been perfect and has gone super smoothly. I have a couple of little Post-it notes in my office that I sometimes pull off my board to show clients when we're talking about what progress looks like. And I always say, I know what you want it to look like. I know I'm not a mind reader, right? But I can kind of see in my head, because I've been there, what you want that progress to look like. You want it to look like this, right? I'm going to start here and I'm going to do the work and then I'm going to get here. Here's the reality. Yes, yes, that is the reality of learning, and especially of behavioral change. Behavioral change is not easy. We are talking about, reprogramming things that we have habituated, and we've taken part in habituating it. And maybe, we didn't know that we were accidentally reinforcing some things, but here we are. And there's never any shame in reaching out for help. And that's part of Hello Bully's goal, is to bring zero cost assistance to people who need simple ways to help their dogs without a lot of fuss. And I really do think that, one of the things that we can take away from COVID is that remote learning is actually better for some things, because a lot of us don't want to bring our dogs to classes and be friggin' embarrassed for 45 or 50 minutes every week and have our dogs super over threshold. So any questions as we wrap up this fantastic time together?
I just wanted to build on that idea for a second of progress isn't a straight shot, because like I said, my dogs learn very, very differently. My Trixie, who's a herding breed, picked things up immediately and was super eager to learn. Quinn took a lot longer. And even when I had to just calm myself down and be like, this isn't me being a bad dog parent, and this is how he needs to learn. But we also, in the process of me just being like, okay, I'm stressed myself out over nothing, it's okay. I also was able, just from working with Daisy and with Hello Bully for a long time, was able to teach him other things accidentally, like, oh, he's jumping up on people. We'll give it a name. Okay, we're going to call that hugs. And we're going to give him the cue, and he's going to learn how to go down. So it wasn't necessarily a straight shot up, like, oh, he's barking at people. Well, this is what speak is. Okay, here's a treat. This is what speak is. Give it a name. Here's a treat. None of these things were asked for, but it kind of was a long way around of getting to a point where I could name a behavior so I could stop a behavior if I needed to.
I love that, Casey.
Thank Patty.
So stationing is just putting your dog in a location, or like asking your dog to put their body in a specific position. Tobias, go ahead.
I think Patty had a question.
With multiple dogs, do we need a separate spot for each one?
Yep.
Okay.
And if your dogs have any issues with food, I put them on either side of me so that they're not like accidentally getting the same treat. And that is a really, really, really nice way of managing dogs, multiple dogs, if you can get them to stay on that bed.
Okay. Thank you.
And I found the link, the URL to the Facebook group.
Awesome. Thank you. We will see you in there.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, 4th of July fireworks. I'll post it tomorrow. We have a whole infographic on that. So for fireworks, you want to get out early in the day, exercise the hell out of them. There is something called composure tabs by VetraScience. I'm going to type that in. You can look those up on Amazon. I prefer those for my dogs. It's like a calming that has valerian root and melatonin and whatever in it. Now is the time to call your vet if you actually need meds. During the fireworks, what you want to do is you want to set up a place for your dog to hide. You want to make sure that that place is not in a room with carpet because some dogs sensitize with loud noises to the carpeting because it's often a thunderstorm and the shock that they're experiencing, which is why we see dogs get into bathtubs all the time when there are thunderstorms, right? Because it's grounded. You know what they're doing? Dumb. So you want, but that can be that they can pair that even when it's not a storm. Or they may have already paired it. So you want them to have like a nice place to hide. You want to turn on your white noise, your house fan. You want to use, if you have box fans actually cut sound. So if you can have a couple of fans going in the area where your dog is, it's going to help cut that sound and make it less like all at once. Yeah, fireworks already. Every time I drive by one of those things, I'm like, I hope you blow up. Those parking lot tents. I'm like, I hope you catch on fire. Making everybody so miserable. But yeah, we have some other tips on there. Make sure your dogs have their ID for 4th of July because dogs can break out of, enclosures and stuff. And we always just plan a night in. Like we put on last time we watched Independence Day with Will Smith, and we just like holed up in the bedroom and put the fans on and all the noise and stuff and just, watched a loud movie, and everybody had some calming treats and they were peacing out. So good luck though, because I know that's really, really stressful for dogs and for some people too. Yeah, basements are great too. Anywhere you can go where it's quiet. All right. Well, this has been fantastic, and I'm excited for some folks to graduate. Yeah, and Dana just messaged me. Oh, there it goes to everyone. Cranking up the TV or music does help mask the sound. Yeah. And it's kind of like separation anxiety. When we're dealing with SA, we are doing it from a lot of different directions, right? And this noise phobia is the same thing. Now, if your dog has a very predictable extreme reaction to specifically sound, you can ask your veterinarian about Sileo, SILEO. It is a intramucous gel that goes on the inside of the mouth. And I am not exactly sure how it works. I believe Zotis is the company that makes it, but you can actually go to their website if you just Google Sileo and see if your dog might be a good candidate for it. I know clients who have used it and had really, really great success with dogs who were super, super phobic. There are also earmuffs that you can buy for your dogs if they will. I know a dog named Boo who was super fearful. Oh, and thunder shirts are good too. Yep, compression can help. And make sure your thunder shirts aren't staticky too. Get that nice fabric softener in there. I hate it when I shock my dogs accidentally. I'm like, oh, that's the worst, because and then when people are like, oh, when they try and downplay a shock collar by calling it like a stim collar. I'm like, man, my dogs freak out over carpet electricity. Don't tell me that this is all fine and good. You know, dogs are gonna, it's not cool. So yeah, well, I hope that this has been a fun experience for y'all. I will email you the lessons tomorrow. I cannot promise it will be in the morning because we do have a dog here who is Casey. I don't know if you saw my email, but we have now emailed the vet and said, what's the worst that can happen if it's not in a splint and he's not in 3 cones? Because this dog is in 3 cones right now. He's having a really hard time.
He was definitely struggling, and he's a puppy on top of it. It was
Yeah.
he's a handful. He is a handful.
Little Mako, yeah. And he's been doing well. He actually had a meet and greet this weekend, and that's when he broke his toe. And he was going to meet the dog on Tuesday, and then his toe ended up being broken. So, but we literally, I don't see how we can maintain him. He just is like, the second he's in pain, he's trying to rip his splint off through his cone. And it's just, he's too young to be going through all this. So I think he's going to be Mako with the wonky toe. That's my hope. And maybe our
Or he
vets
needs
will-
constantly held. Yeah.
Yeah, like my husband is in the other room right now with him like in his arms because he can't. We're waiting for the meds to kick in, and he like, unless you give him all 3 meds at once, he's not sedated. So yeah, it's been a really frigging great couple of days. Now you know why that F-bomb got left in the take. Yeah, it just, you know, and puppies, this is what happens, and hopefully he'll heal quickly, but I don't think we're gonna make it 4 to 6 weeks in a splint. So I don't know. To be seen on Facebook. We'll be doing some fundraising for him because his vet bills just reached over $2,000. So yeah. Oh, the joy of rescue. All right. Well, you guys know how to find me. I thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Please do spread the good word about our organization. This zero cost information and education is really important to our mission and important to me personally. Hello Bully is my baby, and you know,
When can they
give-
sign up for Rad Dogs?
Oh, just you can go and sign up right now. Go to the website, sign up, and you'll be on the list. Yeah, and we will start in mid-July sending out the dates, but it actually will be Mondays at 7 as well. So easy for you guys to remember. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate y'all. All right, Yins. Take care. We'll see you. We'll see you in Rad Dogs, those reactive ass dogs. See you there.
Bye. Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.